What's up mga karuba? This is again your konyo boy Apong Glenn Rapper in English Ilocano Aglalaok, and today meron akong video, and sa malawang tong video na to napanood nyo na, but this time I compress it para sa inyo. And this was the interview of TP, Thinking Pinoy. Yes. Yung interview niya kay Sandro. So makikita natin yung kung gaano naman siya gagaling sumagot sa mga issue na binibigay ni TP sa kanya. Thinking Pinoy also was, nakita ko siya dito before noong hindi pa Senator si Madam Amy. Noong ano pa siya, noong nagkakampanya pa lang sa halalan ng Senator. Pumunta si TP dito noon. Kasama pa niya si Mocha noon. Mag-best friend pa sila. Sila na yung pumapayagpag ng mga vloggers noon. Manang Amy decided na, sige, gusto ko silang mami. So, napunta sila rito. And then, pinasyal ni Manang Amy sila TP, sina Mocha. And okay naman sila. Okay pa sila noon. Okay, so, ayan. So, hindi ko na siguro patatagalin pa. So, dapat mag-enjoy kayo kasi andito ulit si Sandro. Ayan. Andito ulit si Sandro. Actually nga pala, hindi ko alam kung pumunta rin si Byron dati dito. Si Banat Bay sa Ilocos. Pero, I guess si Mocha lang yung nakita ko noon. Actually, magkakabarkada yan. Sina TP, hindi ko lang kung... Hindi siguro magbarkada, pero they know each other. Kasi they are friends in the... they are all DDS supporter noon. Duterte supporters lahat sila. Duterte vloggers lahat sila. Actually, shout out kay TP dito sa video na to. And he is really... lahat ng mga vlog niya ay mapapaisip ka talaga. And ayan, hindi lang ako napaisip na pa-share pa ako. Okay, maraming salamat sa TP dahil sa video na to. May content ako. And then siguro panoorin natin para mas maliwanagan tayo sa mga sinasabi ni Sandro. Yung mga tinanong dito, it's all about mga issues dito sa Ilocos Norte, kung paano siya magiging congressman, kung ano yung mga solusyon niya, kung ano siguro yung mga plataforma niya. Ayan. So, hindi na ako mag-explain pa, panoorin nyo na lang para goods lahat. Ayan. So, yan. Charan!
Kasama ko po ngayon si Ilocos Norte 1st District Congressional Candidate Ferdinand Alexander Sandro Marcos.
Well, unang-una sa lahat naman ng nanonood and sa lahat ng mga nakikinig, thank you for taking the time. And of course, to you, maraming salamat din for having me.
Binaparad ko kasi yung yung Facebook page mo, tapos nakita ko may mga bigay ng relief goods, ganyan. How's the campaign? Nag-umpisa na ba yung campaign? Hindi pa nag-umpisa technically.
Hindi pa naman. Well, sa totoo lang, yung campaign season natin, local, starts March 24. Alam mo naman yung National Feb 8, so malapit na. Pero sa amin, mga 2 months pa. But may trabaho pa rin ako as economic consultant of the province of Ilocos Norte. So doon muna kami nagfo-focus. Yun ang dahilan kung bakit ako umiikot.
Ano ba problema ng ekonomiya ng Ilocos Norte ngayon?
The same as every province, which hindi lang naman to pandemya ng kalusugan pandemya din ng busa. People need to make money. I guess kasi Ilocos Norte, it's a little more agriculturally focused. So yung swine flu, and madaming problema when it comes to agriculture.
So may swine flu pa hanggang ngayon?
Yeah. Lalo na sa also the rice tarification law, it's affecting yung mga magsasaka doon. So yan yung dahilan kung bakit ako umiikot dyan not just agriculture, but kasi kailangan talaga ng tao ng tulong. If I have any plans in running in Ilocos in the future, dapat lang naman nandun na ako na tumutulong. Nandun na ako sa Kongreso for 2-3 years.
Ano ba ginawa mo sa Kongreso prior sa pag-economic consultant?
Well, I worked as unang-una, nasa office ako ni Majority Leader Martin Romualdez, who is now the campaign manager of Inday Sara. Pero nung nagsimula ako, medyo the first month and a half, first 2 months, parang internship lang, learning the ropes, learning the legislative process. Pero nung nalaman ko na, I was then made his political affairs officer for 6-7 months. And then after that, I guess, promote niya ako to director, which involves, more hindi naman serious, pero more heavy work. Nung nakita na niya na alam ko na yung proseso, alam ko na kung paano gawin yung trabaho, I guess he gave me more responsibility.
A few days ago, in-announce ko na i-interview kita. Tapos yung mga fans mo, nagpadala ng mga messages, ganyan, yung mga question. Ito, first question lang muna, Sandro, from a follower. Kumusta na raw ba yung kalagayan ni BBM? Kasi daw, di ba, nung nag-DQ hearing, umabsent siya. So, how is he feeling right now? Is he okay?
Okay naman. He's getting better. Honestly, hindi pa kami nagkita eh. Since I've been back, I mean, alam mo naman, I don't live with my parents anymore. Pero I've been on the phone with him. Okay naman siya. He's recovering. Pero nakakatakot lang dahil dami talagang na positive, especially lalo na sa HQ. And then of course, his chief of staff, Attorney Vic.
Tinamaan din si Attorney Vic.
Yeah, positive siya. So my
pero
dad...
yung dad mo positive ngayon?
I'm sorry?
Positive yung dad mo ngayon?
Hindi. As of now, hindi. Nag-antigen siya. I believe today is day number 5 or 6 ata.
5 or 6, yeah.
5 or 6, so magpe-PCR siya. I think he PCR this morning na.
Yeah, kung tinamaan yun, lumabas na siguro yun ngayon, no? So,
well, kasi regardless kung na-expose ka, whether you're positive or negative, 5-day quarantine, di ba? So
yes,
sabi naman ng tatay ko, if that's the case, I'll test on the 5th or 6th. I'll test on the 5th day, hoping and praying na okay naman siya. Pero nung nag-usap kami, he sounded okay na naman. He sounded better.
Alright.
I last spoke to him.
So okay lang siya. I mean, nothing to yung excessively worry about.
No. I think compared to his last COVID scare.
Tanong ng mga followers mo, Sandro, bakit mo daw ba naisipang pumasok sa well, it's kind of obvious, pero sige. Ba't mo naisipang pumasok sa politika? You could have, entered the private sector instead. Ganyan. So why did you choose to run for congressman?
Sa totoo lang, ever since I was a kid, I've always been averse to entering politics. It may not seem like it, pero hesitant talaga ako kahit noon pa. I guess something changed nung nagsimula ako na nagtrabaho sa Kongreso. Nung bumalik na ako galing London, I think part of it was maturing naman talaga. And seeing that, it's no secret naman given the position that I'm in, given where I'm from and who I am, I have quite a large capacity to be able to help. And not naman that I feel indebted, but I felt like it was, for me, it was a very logical decision for me to make. Dahil naman talaga, because of who I am, I'm able to help people. And when I started working in Congress for Majority Leader Martin Romualdez, nakita ko talaga kung gaanong kasaya, kung gaanong natutuwa yung mga tao pag tinutulong sila. And that's better than any feeling I've ever had in my life. Sa totoo lang.
Alright.
It's better than any job I've ever had. And nung nangyari yan, that's when I said, okay, this is what I want to do.
Ang laki na in-improve ng Tagalog mo,
so
in fairness.
That's how I came to that decision.
In fairness, ang laki na in-improve ng Tagalog mo. Kung magkakaroon daw sila ng chance na makapunta sa Ilocos Norte, saan mo daw sila pwedeng dalhin doon? I mean, ano yung ano yung first place na gusto mo pakita sa kanila about sa Ilocos?
Saud. Yung Saud Beach sa Pagudpod. Ang ganda talaga. Last year na nga, it was voted, I think, one of the best or one of the most beautiful beaches sa buong mundo. So doon talaga. At ang ganda talaga ng view kasi pag nandun ka sa beachfront, of course, maganda yung sand, maganda yung beach. Pero yung view mo, yung windmills eh. Lahat ng windmills ng Ilocos.
Iba yung feeling eh, no? Lalo na pag long... Kasi na-try ko na mag-long drive papuntang Pagudpod. Tapos makita mo yung mga windmills. Yung, what do you think is... Kasi di ba, well, a lot of people think that you generally agree with your dad's political views. Pero that is something we already know. So ang question ng mga followers ko, ano yung mga certain political issues na magkaiba kayo ng view ng dad mo?
Good question. Different political views. Mostly naman similar eh. Alam mo, sa totoo lang, I said this before eh, pero when my dad and I have different political views, medyo nakakatuwa din kasi nagiging parang debate eh.
Ano yung last debate nyo?
Ano yung last debate namin?
Pag not for public consumption, yung next to the last debate.
It was on economic policy ata. I had just finished the book. And my dad naman is very pro free trade, pro open borders, pro international investment. Pero at a limited capacity, baka naman I won't go into specifics kasi medyo granular na. I said this is the way to do it, and then my dad said no. Sa totoo lang, from my experience, you really have to do this. This is how you develop businesses. This is how you develop the economies. And I said, no, tignan mo yung nangyari sa Korea sa 60s. And he said, yes, that was the 60s. That lasted like 2 hours.
Na-mention mo kanina, you're an economic advisor sa Ilocos Norte with Governor Matthew Manotoc. Tapos na-mention mo yung rice tarification law. Ngayon ba, ano ba yung nagawa ng rice tarification law doon sa mga magsasaka sa Ilocos Norte?
Well, two-pronged. I mean, two-sided yun eh. Two-sided yun. The rice, correct me if I'm wrong, pero sa alam ko yung rice tarification law, yung implementation ay para bumaba yung presyo, di ba?
Yes.
Or bumaba yung presyo ng rice, which for now, I guess, is very, very applicable dahil sa COVID, mahirap kumita kung bilang kahit sino, mahirap naman talaga kumita. So I mean that's the right move naman talaga. But the problem with that in the long term is the rice imports that we get are crowding out our domestic market. And sa mga magsasaka, lalo na sa Ilocos Norte, napakalaking industriya ang agrikultura sa Ilocos. Naiipit talaga ang mga farmers natin. And it's very hard. Yung sinusubukan namin ni Gov ay sinasabi namin palagi na, mukhang hindi na talaga tataas ang presyo ng palay. Kaya lumipat na kayo sa mga high value crops. Lumipat na kayo sa mga high value crops and start focusing there. But when you become so accustomed to doing one thing and dun ka marunong, it's hard to change it. So we'll see. May balancing act na kailangan gawin talaga. But as of now, given the current economic situation nationally, I can see naman kung bakit nila ginawa yun.
Okay. Kasi ganito, when I was listening to your dad in one of his, I think, speeches, he mentioned the rice tarification law and he plans to, I think, either suspend it if he becomes president or have it amended. Ipaprod niya yung Congress to amend it. Now that you're running for, congressman ng 1st District ng Ilocos Norte, you will probably have a part in it. So sa palagay mo, what can be changed doon sa rice tarification law, or okay ba yung batas, yung implementation lang yung problema? What do you think?
Alam mo, I don't want to give you a straight answer sa totoo lang, only because I think it's something that needs to be studied in depth. I think it's a lot more complicated than we see it to be. Because it's a balancing act. maybe lower the ceiling on imports so that prices aren't as heavily affected, and as a result, the farmers then have a fighting chance to compete against to compete against the international exporters. Alam mo naman, in the international market, as a local, it's very hard to keep up with the developed countries. I mean, not many people know this, but the most subsidized industry in the US is agriculture.
Yes.
As a result of the US government ensuring na yung palay nila or kung ano-ano is the cheapest in the market. And that's hard to keep up with. So I think, yeah, it might be a case of adjusting the ceiling. It might be a case of subsidizing the local markets to be able to compete. But either way, you'd either have to bring the imports down or support the local market through subsidies.
How do you react when people tell you that you look like Daniel Padilla or Jake Cyrus, i.e. Charis Pempenko?
Wala lang. I actually, I tweeted Jake Cyrus na nga ng 2016, 2017.
Nag-reply siya?
Hindi. Pero I heard makita niya. Wala lang. Pangtawa lang. Hindi naman ako na-apektuhan sa mga ganun eh.
Elementary yata yun, elementary days. Sa Ilocos kayo nag-aral, di ba?
Sa Ilocos kami nag-aaral. Oh.
Yeah. So inevitably, magkakaroon ng mga history lessons noon, di ba? May history class. So how did you guys react? Or how did you handle yung times when dinidiscuss yung issue ng martial law and yung the term of your grandfather?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, pero yung syllabus na ganun is usually in high school, di ba?
Hindi ba sa elementary yan?
From what I remember, I never got to that point na pag Filipino history yung pinag-uusapan. I never got to that point. I guess to relate, nung nasa LSE ako, that came up as one of the modules.
It's very leftist, LSE.
Well, also, LSE is known to be a very leftist school. So that came up in one of the modules. And kasi it was the economic development of East and Southeast Asia. So of course the Philippines was spoken about. And my professor didn't know who I was. So nung pinag-uusapan nila, it was about 2 weeks lang eh. 2 weeks per module it changes. So nung pinag-usapan ng professor, wala, I just stayed quiet. But nagulat na nga ako, he didn't put 2 and 2 together.
Hindi ka nalitsyon, binuli, ganon, wala?
Hindi niya, or maybe he did, but he didn't tell me. Kasi pag may roll call naman, ang sinasabi naman sa akin, Ferdinand Marcos eh. And then yan yung pinag-usapan sa Skype. But alam mo, sa totoo lang, it's okay.
What can we do now as voters? What can we do to make the 2022 elections free, fair, and secure? Medyo alam na natin to.
Well, just first of all, if you kung narehistro ka na, that was the first step. Pangalawa, just ensure in your area na walang kalakuhan na nangyayari, at kung meron, report it to COMELEC. And make sure that you make your voice heard. Bilang isang botante, kailangan talaga na you take an active role in shaping the political discourse of our country. That only happens if you do it collectively. So I think that's the biggest step bilang isang botante na to make sure that we have a clean and fair elections.
So ano ang pananaw mo daw on political dynasties?
Well, I said this in 2016, so sabihin ko na naman, in the same sense that with any, I've been exposed to politics very early in my life as a result of my family name. There's no avoiding that. Hindi naman natin yan maiiwas. And I think, kunwari, I always use this example. If your father was a journalist his whole life and nakita mo yung mga ginagawa niya, doon ka natuto, you would feel not naman obliged, but you would feel more likely that it makes sense for you to go in that industry kasi doon ka na marunong. The difference with politics, and which is why I think, well, first of all, the difference with politics is that you have you have to have the public trust of the people, and that public trust is earned through the electoral process. And so when you talk on political dynasties, parang people tend to ignore the fact that there's still, there's still elections that go on. Kailangan mo pa rin, I guess, ligawan ang mga tao at humingi humingi ng kanilang tiwala, ng kanilang suporta. And that just doesn't happen. Take it from me. That just doesn't happen because of your family name. Lalo na pag local. I learned that myself this election. So
Why? What happened? What happened this election na yung the family name does not necessarily translate into support? Parang ganun yung angle.
well, been helpful, but I think people don't, lalo na sa local people, ang pinag-iisipan ng tao, lalo na ngayon, paano mo kami makatulong? Paano mo kami tulungan? I mean, your last name isn't going to put food on my plate. Your
So,
last
for
name-
example, kumare Sandro, ako yung voter ng 1st District of Ilocos Norte. Actually, Ilocos Norte as a whole. So, what can you do for me? Ganun.
Exactly.
So, what's your
Exactly.
answer?
Oh.
Ano sagot mo sa kanila?
Well,
How would you put
I'm
food on
sure.
the table?
I'm sure that given my background, given what I've done, given what I've learned, I think I'm very well equipped naman, not only to pass laws legislatively, not only to have a national scope as to how the market is going, but being able naman to work with GovMat, Sen Aimee, hopefully sa awan ng Diyos, my dad, to be able to bring Ilocos back on the road to recovery.
In case you become congressman, pinalad ka na manalo, ano yung first na bill na ipapas mo?
My first bill that I said I would always do is to, lalo na ngayon, yung mga frontliners natin, yung mga BHO, not BHO, BHW, and lahat ng mga barangay officials. The thing that I've seen the most from going around is that they're underpaid and overworked. So sa lahat ng mga barangay officials, I want to increase the benefits and hopefully add a more structured payment system for the barangay officials. But aside from that, madami din. That there are plenty of things that have to be done. Fix the tobacco market for Ilocos once and for all. And structurally have to shift dahil nandun na yung syntax, nandun na yung syntax, so it's harder. So I think there has to be kailangan palitan yung value chain ng Ilocos Norte to be able to accommodate not only more profitable but now more feasible. Maraming mas matalino sa akin sa Kongreso, maraming mas marunong, maraming dahil matagal na sila nandun. And I plan on learning from them. I don't plan on I don't plan on throwing my weight around because I'm there naman to learn from those that are better than me. And given that you're a neophyte, dapat lang, just because you're the son of the president doesn't mean you know any better. That's not to say I will be there to help my father in the legislative branch as much as I can. Pero pati naman tatay ko, alam niya yan eh. Because him and I have spoken about it. Na, madaming matalino dyan, dapat matuto ka. No matter how many differences you have, lahat ng tao nagugutom. Lahat ng tao, everyone gets hungry, everyone gets thirsty. In the sense that, our basic needs are all the same. And you need to remember that when you are traversing through the complicated political terrain that is Congress. So just be nice to everyone. Regardless of kahit tinitira ka, kahit may binabati ko sila sa'yo, just be nice to everyone.
Kasi kailangan daw namin ng, sabi ng mga followers ko at followers mo, kailangan lang daw namin ng very quick na Sandro News update. Single ka pa rin daw ba?
Pang ilang tanong na to.
Kailangan niya, balay mo weekly,
Single ako.
bago buhay.
Yes! Single ako.
Single pa rin daw, guys. Ano yung gusto mong mabago sa Pilipinas? Ano yung gusto mong maging yung Pilipinas? What's your vision for the Filipino people? Heavy no? Sige, take a moment.
Medyo heavy. But okay lang. No. Well, first of all, a Philippines that is united. A Philippines that has a clear path towards development. A Philippines that has a plan. Duterte has done, a very, very amazing, fantastic job with regards to that. But I think the Philippines that I want to see is the Philippines that has institutions that that have room for longevity and sustainability. Whether that be wala ng traffic sa EDSA, whether that be easily accessible public transport, whether that be a federal form of government in order to empower and focus on the LGUs and take away from what you would call the Imperial Manila. It's a variety of things, no? But I think that all starts, which is why my dad's messaging is napakahalaga talaga yung mensahe niya. In order to get to that point, kailangan talaga magkaisa ang mga taong bayan. The feeling that I've gotten from helping people is the best feeling I've ever had in my life. Better than anything I've ever done. Maraming salamat na naghahanap kayo ng oras para makinig sa amin. Sana naman up to now, we continue supporting the BBM Sara Uni team. We continue fighting for the unity of this country. And trust me when I say there are no two better candidates than the BBM Sara partnership to bring this country forward, para ituloy yung mga programa ni PRRD, and to bring this country to a better light and help and ensure na sama-sama tayo babangon ulit. And of course, sa lahat ng mga taga-Ilocos Norte na nakikinig ngayon, maraming salamat din. Diyos unay ti agnina. I hope that this interview has given you some insight as to my plans for the 1st District, as to my plans for the province of Ilocos Norte. And maaasahan nyo naman talaga ako na bilang isang tao na gusto pagandahin ang buhay ng ating probinsya, ng ating mga kakailian. And I hope, like I said, that this has given some clarity as to what I have planned, as to what I want to do, and that sa tingin, and hopefully it has shown that handang-handa na ako.
Okay, maraming salamat sa inyong lahat, sa lahat ng mga nanood, sa lahat ng mga hanggang nandito, sa mga nanood from beginning, from the start hanggang ngayon. At nandito pa rin. Nakikipag-usap pa rin ako sa inyo. And maraming salamat sa mga nanonood, sa mga hindi pa nag-subscribe, mag-subscribe kayo. And sa mga gusto pang maka-update sa mga iba't ibang Sandro clips at iba't ibang mga kaalaman about sa mga Marcoses, feel free to click that notification bell para ma-update tayo, and feel free to share para naman malaman lahat ng mga tao dito sa atin, sa buong bansa, yung mga ginagawa ng mga Marcoses, and of course ang Ilocos Norte as a whole. Kasi Apong Glenn is here to show you what is Ilocano. Ayan. Ilocano katpay. Ilocano. Sige, okay. Maraming salamat sa inyo. Agyaman na kada kayo launay. Agyaman na kada kayo amin. And once again, this is again your Konyo Boy. Apong Glenn rapping English Ilocano. Peace out. Bye-bye.